Hello fellow audio nerds, I'm Steph, and this is Major Hi-Fi. This week I got a chance to spend some quality time with the newest from JBL, the JBL Live 500 BT. So these are super portable Bluetooth headphones, and yeah, the question is though, how do they sound, how do they perform? Let's go back in time, I'll share with you my first impressions, and then I will meet you right back here for my overall thoughts. Alright, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to my place. So today I've got with me the JBL Live 500 BT, so let's see what's inside the box here. Alright, so a pretty simple package here you'll see. We've got a micro USB charging cable. We've got an audio cable here to use the headphones wired. And yeah, it's a nice cable coated in cloth. It's got a microphone right here for talking on the phone. We've got some documentation, of course, and then the headphones themselves. Alright, so as for the headphones, yeah, they're really good looking. They have a really kind of simple design, as you'll see. The headband is coated in cloth, just like the E series. And you'll notice that the headband is made of plastic, but it does have this sort of strip of metal, of aluminum, I think, kind of going along it to increase its strength. Down here, this sort of attaches to the ear cup, and these ear cups then can rotate, 90 degrees so that you can lay them flat, but they also fold up, which is really nice for taking them on the go. You'll see then that the ear cup is made of plastic, and yeah, it's an over-ear headphone, but it's still a really manageable kind of size here. Not too bulky at all, but yeah, really sound isolating too, and that's going to be really great for taking them on the go, commuting, if you're riding the train, if you're walking and you just kind of want to get into your music and stuff like that. These are going to be really nice. At the bottom of the ear cup here, let's see if you can see it. There's some remote controls. There's a port for the headphone for listening wired, and then on the other ear cup there's a port for charging here. This is the micro USB port. Then as for the ear pads, it's kind of standard. It's like soft foam coated in sort of a pleather material. I like the inside of these ear cuffs. There's a lot of space for the ear actually, which I think is great. And just from my memory, I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like a bigger space for the ear to really sit in there, and then the left and right designations. But yeah, then the headband has a little bit of padding. It's not super thick, but it's just a nice little bit of padding here to kind of ease it on the head. And then as for the fit of it, yeah, it's comfortable, and the ear pads feel nice and soft. They do touch the outside of my ears just a little bit, but it's nothing, doesn't feel uncomfortable. It probably would get a little bit hot for some folks, but outside of that, I think they're really comfortable, and yeah, they sit well on the head. There's a little bit of a squeeze there, but it's not overbearing at all. It just kind of feels like yeah, secure on my head. And obviously these headphones are wireless. They connect to your phone or your listening device via Bluetooth, connects via Bluetooth 4.2, so with those kind of specs it has a range of about 30 feet. But then yeah, it has a really nice battery life of about 30 hours, which I think is great, and kind of a quick charging thing too, because if it's totally dead and you want to charge it to full capacity, it takes 2 hours to charge. So when you calculate it, that's like 15 minutes of charging will yield about 2 hours of listening, and I think that's really really nice. And then yeah, there are a couple other features on these. It can connect via Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa, so you can kind of set that up. These JBLs will work with the JBL headphone app, so with that you've got a nice EQ. You've got, the ability to turn on and off the Google Assistant. And then there's one other feature, or I guess a pair of features, the talk through feature and then the ambient listen feature. And this will basically make it so that if you're commuting with these or whatever, you're going about your day and someone's trying to get your attention, you can just press the button and it'll dim your music and let you listen. It'll sort of amplify the what's going on around you, so you can hear someone trying to get your attention or talk to you without having to like, oh, excuse me, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a really nice feature, and one that I think will be ideal for somebody that's taking these on the go. But all of that said, yeah, I'm excited to give them a listen. I am pretty familiar with the E series of JBL headphones, and I think this is sort of like, it's not the same as the E series for sure, but it's kind of, in my head, sort of replaces it, because this is the same price point as the E55, and yeah, just very curious to see how they sound. All right, interesting. Yeah, I was just listening to the song Lazarus by David Bowie, and yeah, actually in comparison to the E55, these have a lot more clarity, especially in the low frequencies and the low mids, because basically in this song, the kick drum still felt punchy, like it had a little bit of a sense of emphasis somewhere down there, but it wasn't overbearing at all, and actually the separation between the kick drum in the song and the bass guitar was super well done, and I wasn't even really expecting that. So I'm impressed so far, and the way that it sort of like helps the song is it just contributes to the sense of grooviness, because you can really hear those parts, because the bass guitar and the kick drum kind of mimic each other in a sense, and their patterns a little bit, and this creates a really nice sense of grooviness. So yeah, I'm impressed so far. Nice. I was just listening to the song Thanks for Nothing by Middle Brother, and in this song, the acoustic guitar, its body felt a little bit quieter in the mix, but its attack kind of had a little bit more presence to it, I guess. And the same sort of thing happened with the vocal, where it felt a little bit forward in the mix, but its body was a little bit quieter. That said, the bass guitar felt full, and it actually felt nicely balanced, and it had great separation from the other guitars going on, so I could really hear everything well. And yeah, there's just that little bit of extra presence to it. Alright, I was just listening to the song If by La Fembe, and yeah, the vocal had a really nice sense of airiness, and same thing with the background vocals, which are sort of mixed brightly, and so they kind of come through with this really nice, kind of pretty lift to them. That said, the vocals also had a really nice sense of texture, and there's sort of this like aesthetic distortion effect on the vocals sometimes, and that came through in a really textural way, and I really liked that, and I got that similar sense of texture from the brighter synths in the song as well. So nice high end with a little bit of emphasis for sure. Alright, yeah, I was just listening to the song Miles Runs the Voodoo Down by Miles Davis. And yeah, the soundstage is nice. There's a sense of contrast between things. Like, for example, you know, the thing is the high mids have that little bit of a boost to them, right? So the trumpet, the hi-hat even, the sax, all sort of felt closer in space than usual, but they contrasted well with the darker mid-rangey instruments like the organ and the electric guitar sort of further back in space. And then yeah, the panned out drums didn't feel particularly wide. There's a little bit of a narrowness there, but they did have nice contrast. You know, the drums to the sides, the guitars to the sides, they really contrasted well with the centered trumpet, and yeah, there was definitely a kind of a sense of nuance between the things sitting in between, but it didn't feel overly wide or anything. And then yeah, the cymbals, the snare, the trumpet even had a sense of kind of upwardness in the vertical domain, and it contrasted well with the bass below, and the mid-rangey instruments kind of fell in between it. So while none of the kind of areas of this soundstage felt particularly expansive or anything, there was a good sense of differentiation and a sense of separation between things. So it's well done. But anyway, I'm looking forward to listening to these more, spending some more quality time with it, and yeah, I'll meet you back at the Major Hi-Fi office with my overall thoughts. Alright, here we go. So before getting into the actual sound of it, I just want to talk a little bit about the app. It was super easy to navigate, and I really liked the EQ. It's a multi-band, semi-parametric EQ, and in addition to doing a good job of adjusting the frequencies and letting you choose which frequencies you want to boost or cut, the thing I really like about it is that it level matches. So when you make a huge boost, for example, it doesn't make the volume louder or anything. It sort of takes what you did and then adjusts the volume so that it sort of stays consistent with the level that you were listening at before, and it helps you determine what actually sounds better. Because sometimes it's easy to think something sounds better just because it sounds louder. So anyway, I really like the EQ. But onto the sound. The low frequencies have a little bit of emphasis right around the fundamental of many kick drums. But while there is this little bit of emphasis, the low frequencies weren't super loud or bloated or emphasized in a major way. Really, there's just a little bit of extra energy there for the kick, but otherwise, it does a really great job of maintaining a sense of clarity and separation from the low mids in a way that other JBL headphones haven't really done. The previous series didn't quite do it as well, and so I was really impressed with the low end on these because it gives you that kick and that punch that you want without really stepping on the toes of bass guitars or pianos, organs, things that are sitting in the low mids. As for the middle frequencies of the headphones, the high mids definitely have a little bit of an emphasis there. At the top region of the middle part of the mid-range, there's a little bit of a cut there actually, and as a result, vocals sit a little bit forward in the mix because of the high mid boost, but are a little bit thinner or a little bit smaller sounding because of that middle part of the mid-range cut. And the same thing is true for other parts of other kinds of mid-range rich instruments. They're a little bit smaller in the mix, but they still actually, the thing that's good about it is that it maintains a sense of separation from the low mids, which have a nice sense of kind of solidity to them, and the high mids, which kind of need to be more present because of their boost. Now the high frequencies of the Live 500 BT definitely have some emphasis. There's an emphasis a little bit in the upper treble and then the upper octave. There's a little bit of a cut in the lower treble. Now, as a result, vocals are a little bit less articulate than usual, but they still maintain their sense of texture and a sense of airiness that makes them pretty and also separates them from other parts of the mid-range. Likewise, cymbals, percussion, other high-frequency rich information feels a little bit less chunky than normal, so it's a little bit kind of leans towards those higher highs and steps away from sort of the chunky, kind of thick high frequencies that they might otherwise have. And lastly, as for the soundstage of the 500 BT, what you'll end up getting is not a super expansive sound stage or anything, but there is good differentiation and contrast in the sound stage. So for example, the frequency response, the way it's shaped, it sort of skews the realism of the sound stage. For example, the high-mid boost really sort of brings a lot of instruments forward in the mix that would otherwise be sitting a little bit further back. That said, because of that mid-range cut in the middle part of the mid-range, it really makes very intimate sounding high-mid rich instruments or vocals or horns or anything feel like they have good separation from the things that are sitting further back in space, like darker guitars or synths or pianos or something. Neither the highs or the lows feel particularly extended, but they still do have a sense of separation. There is a sense of kind of placement to where they sit, and then the mid-range sort of fills out the things in between it. So I think the soundstage is well done, not expansive, but definitely will give you a sense of the mix in a way that feels like it kind of provides a little bit of impact for mixes that utilize soundstage in that way. Overall, the JBL Live 500 BT is going to be a great option for those of you that need a portable headphone that's versatile, that you can sort of customize to the sound signature that you kind of like because of that EQ. And also for those that want kind of more of a minimal, more compact style headphone that still goes over the ears, because these are still going to block out a lot of sound without a super large footprint. Thank you so much for watching. For another perspective on the JBL Live 500 BT, be sure to check out the link in the description box to my colleague's review of the same headphones. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And for more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Alright, I will see you next time. Bye.